Welcome to Redacted Reality. If the allure of the shadowy, cryptic, and mystical tales captivate you, then please subscribe and hang around. Chapter 9: The Buried Truth. The dim light of the library cast long shadows on the faces of the team as they pored over old maps and historical documents spread out across the heavy oak table. The faint hum of the overhead fluorescent lights was the only sound in the room, save for the occasional shuffle of papers or the frustrated sighs that punctuated their work. "I think I've got something," Sam announced, her voice breaking the stifling silence as she leaned over the crinkled edges of a discolored map. She taped a marked section near the center of the park. "This area right here. According to these reports, it was part of a massive dumping initiative for the Philadelphia Navy Yard. They used to bury all kinds of toxic waste before the park was reclaimed decades later." Joe frowned, peering over her shoulder. "That's most of the park." "Exactly," Sam confirmed grimly, circling the boundaries of the dumping zone with a red pen. "Nearly 80% of it was disturbed, covered over, or outright paved to make it safe for public access. If Miranda's grave is unmarked and predates the Revolutionary War, there's no way it's in there." "Okay, so we eliminate the dump zone," Ellie chipped in, her brow furrowed as she scanned the untouched regions still visible on the map. "That leaves 20% untouched land? That's still a few thousand acres. There's no way we can comb through all of that." Nick, leaning heavily on the table, ran a hand over his face. He hadn't slept well in weeks, and it showed. His fingers trembled as he pushed the stray papers piled in front of him into a semblance of order. "She's not gonna make it easy for us, is she?" Ellie turned to Nick, her voice soft but firm. "Miranda's been through hell. I don't think easy is in her vocabulary." "Neither is helpful, apparently," Joe muttered, earning a sharp glare from Sam. Nick waved off the brewing argument, sighing heavily. "She's scared, angry, I get it. But maybe if we..." He hesitated, the weight of his idea setting like stone in his gut. "Maybe if we reach out to her again?" The silence that followed was deafening. "You've got to be kidding," Joe said, breaking it with disbelief. "She nearly broke you last time, Nick. You don't need to go through that again." "We don't have a choice, Joe," Nick shot back, voice rising with desperation. "We can't just randomly dig and hope for the best. She knows where she's buried. She's the only one who knows." Sam bit her lip, her eyes flitting between Nick and the map. "He's right. It's dangerous, but it's the only way. We have to be ready to pull him out if it gets bad." "It is gonna get bad," Ellie whispered ominously, staring at Nick. "Are you sure you can handle it?" Nick straightened, though his shoulders still sagged under the weight of what he was about to say. "I have to. If it means giving her peace, if it means uncovering the truth, I'll do it." The room fell into resigned agreement, and minutes later they found themselves back in the safe house. The air was heavy with expectation as Nick lay back, his head barely supported by a sack of frayed pillows on the cot. Ellie hovered nearby with the med kit, while Sam adjusted the tiny camcorder perched on the shelf across the room, ensuring it was pointed at Nick. Joe paced like a restless shadow in the corner, arms crossed tightly over his chest. Nick exhaled shakily. "Okay, Miranda," he murmured, closing his eyes. "I'm here. Give me what you got." It started as a faint warmth blooming in his chest, and for a moment, he thought maybe, just maybe, this time would be easier. Then, her memories hit him like a tidal wave. Sudden, sharp, and cold. A muffled cry escaped his lips as the impressions poured into his mind. He wasn't in the room anymore. He was her. Rain lashed at his skin, her skin, As boots stomped through the mud around him, the hands gripping his arms were rough, shoving him forward with an overgrown trail. Lantern light flickered in the darkness, illuminating twisted, skeletal trees that loomed like silent sentinels. The acrid stink of alcohol mingled with wet earth as coarse voices barked orders behind him. Miranda's heart thundered in Nick's chest. "This way," someone sneered. A hand yanked roughly at the fabric of her dress, dragging her to a shallow, unmarked pit gouged into the earth. The impressions didn't stop. Miranda's terror rippled through Nick's body, her desperation like fire in his veins. He felt the festering pain of betrayal, the biting cold of steel chains, and finally, the suffocating weight of soil pressing down on her lifeless form. "No!" Nick shouted, arching against the cot as Ellie and Sam rushed to his side. His breathing was shallow, his skin unnaturally pale. "Pull him out!" Ellie yelled, pressing her hands to his shoulder to steady him. "Nick, come back to us!" Nick's eyes flew open, wild and unfocused. A strangled sob broke from his throat, and his trembling hands clutched at Ellie's sleeve. "The trail," he gasped. "It's an old trail. East of the park, just beyond the fringe." Sam grabbed the map, her fingers sliding to the untouched fringe of the park's eastern border. "If there's a forgotten trail out there, then that's where she is." Her voice was firm, but her eyes betrayed her unease as she glanced at Nick. His chest heaved, each breath a struggle as he sank back into the thin mattress. "We have to find her," he whispered hoarsely, his voice a fractured echo of Miranda's grief. The team exchanged solemn glances, the weight of the mission settling deeper around them. They now knew where they had to go, but Nick's haunted expression left no doubt in their minds. The cost of uncovering the truth was growing heavier by the second.